On this video, I'm going to talk about the difference between a shaky head and a Ned rig. Had to put a little bit of thought into this one because I really wasn't sure what the answer was. I get it quite a bit in the comments of a lot of my videos that I'm doing about other things, and I'm going to try to address it as best as I can on this one. I really kind of struggled with it. If you followed my channel for any amount of time, even if this is the first video you've ever seen, first of all, I want to thank you guys for subscribing, always supporting all the content that I put out. I hope they're always valuable for you. A lot of you guys always ask for a chance to either go fishing with me, talk with me personally. I get that all the time through emails and so forth. So I got the opportunity for you to do that. In 2020, we started the straight up fishing schools, and we're about to start those schools up again. So January 14th, I'm going to do another straight up fishing school. Y'all shut up. Thank y'all. When you start to learn finesse techniques, it shows you fish that you never knew were there. You didn't know they were there. And I'm going to talk about what I'm looking for, and I got video clips to kind of show you guys what I'm looking for. But a wacky rig, a drop shot, a light Texas rig, gateway baits. So if you're not familiar with my straight up fishing schools, basically it's nothing more than a meet and greet, a class, a school, just like what it says, where we're gonna get together and literally talk about fishing all day. Talk about techniques, talk about rods, reels, baits. I'm gonna show you where to look for fish, what I think is the most important part. You can have the right baits and tools all you want, but if you don't know where to go, fishing is always gonna be extremely hard for you. Since I've traveled all over the country fishing, I think I have a pretty good idea how to catch at least a bass or a technique that will work just about anywhere in the country. And so I'm going to show those to you, and you'll get a chance to personally ask questions. Christian is probably one of the youngest guys on the tour to win in a very, very long time. How we met, it's kind of funny. If you want to get tickets to the school, all you have to do is go to my website, shopblat.com, and register. January 14th, Anderson, South Carolina. In addition to all the school and all the learning that you're going to do, we're going to do giveaways. It'll be raffles. I'm going to give away jerseys. We're going to sign autographs. We're going to take pictures. We're going to laugh. We're going to do all kind of cool things. But other than that, we're going to have a lot of tackle for sale there. All the baits that I'm going to be talking about in those seminars, I'll actually have them there so you can see the exact colors, the weights, the sizes, and the things that I actually use. I'm actually going to have a lot of my rods and reels and stuff that I want to give away for this year too is going to be there. So I'll even have some used equipment for you guys that don't want to buy any new equipment. So make sure you sign up for the program. It's January 14th. Tickets on shopblat.com. Hope you register. Okay, this is what you probably came to this video about, even though I hope you register for the school, is what's the difference between the shaky head and the Ned rig. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm struggling with coming up with a lot here. A lot of this stuff I'm about to talk about is gonna be very obvious. The size, a shaky head is typically a longer shank hook than a Ned rig. Typically, the line tie is going to be a 90-degree angle on a Ned rig. On a shaky head, it could be any degree angle. This is my signature series shaky head, and I don't know what angle it is, but it's not 90 degrees. As far as the jig head itself, the biggest difference for me is size. I don't consider anything a Ned rig unless it's less than 3 inches, I think it is. Anything in that 4 inch and larger in my opinion, is just not a shaky head. Now you're just throwing normal plastics. Not a normal Ned rig. I'm sorry, did I say that right? Anything 3 inches and smaller is a Ned rig. Anything that's pushing 4 inches and up, it's just now we're just soft plastics. A Ned rig is like a really small chunk of plastic. There's really only 3 profiles that I like to use. Here's one that you've seen before. This is just the good old faithful TRD. You know, that guy right there. It's just a hunk of plastic. There's nothing special about the TRD at all. There's really only 2 ways that I like to rig a TRD. The good old faithful way, and you'll notice when you rig, especially a TRD, that there's a little hollow body, a little hollow area in the plastic. And the hook goes in there a lot better. So just this traditional way with the hook exposed. Did I do that too fast? Let me do it again so you can actually see what I did. So you can kind of match this up like that. You can see where it about needs to come out, where the hook needs to come out. And I'll just kind of hold my finger there. I do it enough to where I don't really have to do this, but I know if it's the first time you're rigging a Ned rig, you might have to do that. Just kind of make a mental note, and then you just want your hook to pop out of the plastic right where you're holding your finger. And the way you want to make it stay on that keeper is like, you see I'm pulling that plastic up and over the keeper. You can get really aggressive because you can see this plastic's not going to tear at all. Like it will not tear. And so you want to make it straight, because if it's not straight, it's going to twist on your line a lot. That's how I rig it. Actually, I think that's upside down right now. Yeah, I actually did rig it upside down, but it actually doesn't matter. It's not that much difference between the tail and the head on the TRD. So hook exposed. Can you see that? Can you see the hook exposed there? That's one way to rig TRD. The other way I rig it, I take the same jig head. I don't get any special EWGs. I don't get any of that fancy stuff. I rig the same jig head on a TRD, and I rig it like you would a shaky head, which is Texas rig. So I'll take my plastic and I'll run it in just a little bit like that. So when it's finished, it looks like that, right? Then I'll take my plastic, run it all the way up to the head like that. Pop it right over the keeper. Just take your hook, spin it around just like that. Stick it right back in the plastic. And then I'll just fish it just like that. Not sure if you can see it. I'll fish it just like that, which is the way you rig a normal shaky head. That way it doesn't hang up, it rolls, it stands up just the way it's supposed to, which with the last take, it doesn't matter how you rig it, it's going to stand up because the plastic floats. It'll float like a 5/0 hook. It doesn't hang up nearly as bad. It comes through rocks a little bit. The only thing I don't like about this way is it will kind of spiral on you coming back to the boat and get you a lot of line twists. So probably always use this setup on braided fluorocarbon. So that's how I rig that. There's really 3 profiles that I'll use. The TRD, which I just showed you. I'll use a Tickler's. Actually, there's 4. I'm lying. This one is called the TRD Ticklers. TRD Ticklers is sort of like a hybrid between a tube and a stick bait. It's got these little appendages. You can see the body's a little fatter on here. This is the Ticklers. I wish I could tell you that these little appendages kick around and do stuff, but they don't really do much. They don't do much. But the body is a little fatter, so it holds the hook a little bit better. If you're hanging, like you're in a really snaggy situation, I like the Ticklers a little bit better. Rig them the same 2 ways that I just showed you. The one that's a sleeper that nobody really talks about that I catch a lot of fish on a Ned rig on is a finesse worms, which is a bait that you probably only can get on my website, or you can get it at, the Z-Man website. It's a really super skinny worm. It's super skinny. Like compare the girth to that one to this. Really skinny, right? And I'll actually cut it off because obviously I just got through saying the Ned rig is under 4 inches. Well, this worm is 4 inches long. A Ned rig TRD is 275. So like I said, like 3 inches and below, as I like to call a Ned rig. So what I'll do is I'll take this guy, the finesse worms, and I'll cut him off I'll just cut him off right above the egg sac. You can take a pair of scissors. I would normally cut it with something better than this, but this is what I got here. So I'll cut it off right above the egg sac. Take a Ned rig, a Ned head, whatever you want to call him. And this thing is really skinny. Like when fishing is super tough, or sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes you might have to fish a body of water that just has small fish. I have to do that a lot. Like when I fish with my kids in some of the ponds, I got to fish places that, dude, they got fish in them this big. But I won't catch them. I don't want to go down there and not catch them. This one, like, it really catches them good. And you can cut it shorter. You don't. That's just where I like to fish with it. I cut it right above the egg sac. You can cut it right below the egg sac. And that's a perfect little Ned rig too. If you cut it right above the Ned sac, the egg sac, it makes it about a 3-inch bait. That's the sleeper right there. So just remember, a Ned rig for the most part is just a size bait, 3 inches and smaller. So you can take some of the baits that you already got, cut them down, and then they're Ned rigs. Just long as it fits the hook. As long as you got this head, whatever plastic you can make match this size head, then you can call it a Ned rig. I'm gonna repeat that, okay? If you're struggling to know if you're throwing a Ned rig or not, get the normal Ned head, match the plastic, whether that means cut it down, buy one that for that size. If you cut it down and use this hook works with it, it's now a Ned rig. The Ned is more so the head than it is the plastic. All right. Shaky head. I really only rig a shaky head one way, really, for the most part. Shaky head is going to be just a little bit longer worm. This is one that I helped design right here, the SMH worms. Really simple. I'm going to rig it. I don't have a lot to say about this one. I don't have that much to say about this one. Sorry. This is my own worm. How long is it? 6.5 inches. It can be cut down to 6 inches, 5 inches, or 4 inches. Do whatever you want to with it. But the hook is designed for it to be 6.5 inches. I'll just see that. I just poke it in about that much. Got it? Then I come in here, pull it all the way to the top, then spin my hook around towards the bait. I'm just, with elastic, I like to bury the hook. Don't like to texpose, none of that other stuff. Bury the hook. Such soft plastic, you're not gonna have a problem with it balling up on there. Keep it from hanging up. That's really the only reason, that's the only way I rig a shaky head. I never really rig it with the hook exposed anymore. If you want to see some videos of me fishing the Ned rig or the shaky head, I'll do that in the description box. I'll put some videos if you're curious about the retrieves of a shaky head or curious about the retrieves of a Ned rig. It's very simple. The way that you fish them, I'll give you some opinions here. If I were to say so, I would say the shaky head is a little bit more versatile. You can fish around weeds and laydowns and stuff a little bit easier. If I'm fishing weeds, laydowns, and actual visual structure, even if it's grass, it's probably going to be a shaky head, the bigger one. If I'm fishing bare banks, which is where the Ned rig shines, because a lot of times I hear people say, well, man, I throw a Ned rig, but it hangs up so much. If you're hanging up, you probably don't need to throw a Ned rig. The Ned rig really shines in open water situations where there's not a lot of structure to hang up in. That's where you want to throw a Ned rig. If it's clean bank, if it's sand, if it's pea gravel, if it's dropping it right below the boat, you're fishing in deep water, you're fishing in clear water, try that Ned rig. Probably going to perform a little bit better. The water's a little bit more stained. You need a little bit more water disturbance. If you're fishing around laydowns, grass, stumps, rocks, docks, wood, timber, probably throw the shaky head. It works a little bit better in that situation.